Natanz has been hit, but no radiological impact has been detected. When that gets hit, Macron said we are going to develop our nuclear weapons, and then Poland says we're going to have a weapon of our own. Now, what is your allies are America's allies are all now going the nuclear way because they're not going to rely on America. That's what the allies are saying. We can't rely on an unreliable partner like America. What do you think President Trump has unleashed with regard to his allies?
Well, to be honest, I think it began long before this conflict, but this conflict will further drive home the point, exactly what you made, that many countries have decided they don't need nuclear weapons because they are content to live under what we call the United States nuclear umbrella. The more the United States demonstrates less commitment to defending partners and allies around the world, the more countries that feel under threat. And by the way, those countries are likely to be in the Middle East, in Asia, in Europe, will believe they need some sort of additional protection, whether it's living under another country's nuclear umbrella. France is now offering potentially to extend its nuclear umbrella further than it has before, or to obtain these weapons themselves, as a whole host of countries are contemplating. I think sometime over the next 5 or 10 years, you are likely to see the emergence of new nuclear powers because of these dynamics.
And Pakistan providing the Islamic bomb?
Saudi Arabia? That is something that has been widely reported to have been contemplated in the past. We'll see.
They have a security arrangement, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan.
The Mutual Defense Partnership.
Yes. Do you see that extending to the nuclear umbrella as well?
Look, I don't think they took nuclear out of that partnership explicitly.
Yeah.
But, at this point, I think the main driver of Saudi Arabia's desire to potentially someday have a nuclear weapon was whether Iran would obtain a nuclear weapon. It does look like, for the time being, very unlikely in the near term that Iran is going to be able to obtain a nuclear weapon, just given the condition of its nuclear program and its military. Should Iran go back down the nuclear path, which, by the way, you could argue would be rational for them to do. Countries that have nuclear weapons do not tend to be attacked in the way that Iran has been attacked over the last year. I think Saudi Arabia would very seriously look at nuclear weapons.
Because you have mentioned once that Pakistan's missile program is a threat to the U.S., right? How do you see that now panning out?
Yeah, I said when I was in the government that Pakistan was developing an ICBM program that could ultimately reach the United States. By the way, not a totally different concern than the one that the current Trump administration is expressing about Iran, which is also in the process of developing a long-range missile program and has been for some years. But my understanding, I'm not subject to or privy to all the intelligence. My understanding is that program is still a number of years from being successfully completed, if it's ever successfully